You thought I was Jeremy this whole time, but we had Kian. We took my DNA. We created Kian so that Jeremy could live on. We killed original Jeremy. And by killed, he's on an island somewhere. He's happy. He's eating coconuts. He's fine. I'm the new Jeremy, and that's why you've seen such success in 2025.
Son of a gun.
Yep.
I should have never hired Drake.
Jury's out. Well, Drake's
I would
actually...
have known.
Surprise,
I would
Drake
have
is
known all
actually
this
AI
time.
as well.
What does it mean to plant your flag? It means you're not afraid.
It means you're passionate about what you do.
It means you're here to serve others,
In business, in life,
in good and bad.
you aren't afraid to fly your colors proudly because you know
You serve a greater purpose. This is the Plant Your Flag podcast with Mike Bean.
in Jeremy Mountain.
Hello, and welcome back to the Plant Your Flag podcast. It's the guys from Bean Media here today.
Here we are.
The Comfort Zone.
Yeah.
Mike and Jer, your two favorite digital marketing pros in Buffalo. Not the only ones, but
Right.
we tend to think that our clients like working with us, and we tend to think that we get good results.
Yeah.
With that being said, we felt it was a good time to sit down and have a little talk about AI because everybody's talking about it. You can't escape it.
It might have been a 2-letter/4-letter word to your marketing company.
Yes, you can't
Yeah.
spell marketing without AI, as I just dropped right before we started shooting. But in all seriousness, it's something that a lot of our clients, colleagues ask us about. We felt it was a good time to just do a little bit of a recap on. We enter 2026 looking at what we've seen as far as AI around Google, Meta, organic, paid, some different channels. So we're going to get a couple little thoughts on what Mike is seeing regarding some of the other business owners he's talked with and some of their concerns and thoughts and questions. We'll get a little bit about Google and a little bit about Meta because those are obviously two of the biggest players in digital marketing. Can't really do much without addressing those two giants. And, we'll kind of meander around and talk a lot. If there's any questions you do have, drop them in the comments. Any thoughts on what we have to say today, drop them in the comments. We'll have you on for a debate if you disagree. If you want, challenge accepted.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for listening. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you do know anyone that is a business owner or has planted their own flag, let us know because we'd love to have them on the show. But with all that being said, Mike, I know as a member of, not a member, the leader and president of Businesses Helping Business.
Business helping business. Yeah.
BHB.
There's a lot of S's in there. Yeah.
Yeah, BHBWNY. You talk with a lot of
Yeah.
people, men and women, that own businesses around this region. What are some of the inklings, thoughts, things that, you're getting? Because I know you mentioned you're sort of getting berated.
Yeah, berated with it's the scope is all over the place. There's people who are so concerned about it that they're missing out. There's people who are concerned about it just infiltrating their business, and I think the overarching one is the concern for how is this going to impact my business and what do I need to know and where do I go to find that information, and then it kind of turns into that double down of where do I find this information and is it generated by AI?
Yeah.
So I think that's.
And what about you? I mean, you are a business owner.
Yeah.
What have you found to be, I guess, most challenging regarding being an expert in something that's so new while also tempering expectations of clients?
Yeah, that is a double-edged sword because I do see the upside of it, and I have the fortune of having somebody in my corner that I've known since college. Tyler, what's up, buddy? Who's really been, he's had a finger on the pulse of this for quite a while. And he's kept me up to speed, with the time that we've both had to talk about some of the things that go in and out, with what's new, what's true, because that false news and like all that kind of stuff. And that's a real concern, I think, to a lot of people. So, as far as my take is, use it as a tool, use it in a way that you understand it. I think it's kind of right up there with picking up any other tool. If you don't understand it, then ask somebody who does, watch them for a little while, and then, but the problem with that analogy is that this tool is ever evolving. And then once again, to continue to double down on that, it's not ever evolving only, it's also learning from people using it, because it grabs information from the internet that may have been generated by AI slop. So I think, like I said, the fact that I had some, a little bit of a heads up on it, more so than maybe other people, the fact that we're in a tech-ish industry. And why I see tech-ish is because I never claimed to be an IT company,
right?
So there's all sorts of nuances and implications that I can't speak to, but I can say as a business owner that I think that it's something that does need to be front and center, and how important it is to your bottom line. Can you use it to maximize your productivity? Can you use it to minimize mistakes? But also all of it grain of salt, because it is, the public is learning about it. There's many people out there who have been using it for years and have been looking to capitalize on it in any way you can imagine. So that's I think my biggest cautionary tale is just to say, grain of salt. Don't do anything, any sweeping changes. Don't clean out your staff thinking that this is going to solve all of your problems with a couple clicks, like you might see on social media somewhere.
Yeah, one thing I've sort of found is there seems to be this almost like it's not like there's an answer for everything, but now because of AI, there seems to be this shadowy potential answer. I've heard people talk well, I think I'm going to find it. If you guys see anything that's like an AI agent that can do this, this, and this, let me know. And it's like, well, that's...
It sounds a lot like how I responded to your first ask, your first prompt.
Well,
is that fair to say?
Well, it's kind of like there's things out there right now. Obviously, there's the Chat GPTs, there's Grok, there's all the different tech giants have their own. They're all sort of battling and coming up with their own. But I find it somewhat humorous that there's these problems, and we've seen people that we know see a problem and the solution goes back to AI, but that AI solution doesn't exist yet.
No, right.
And that's what I find to be a little problematic, is the over-reliance. Before there's even a solution, it's like, oh, well, there's going to be an AI solution for that.
Or, well, let me get back to you. We'll get you a real answer. Well, I put it into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And I got this.
Yeah.
Why is it different? Yeah. So I get that. And I think that there are real life applications that it is solving problems. But the subjective and objective, that's a
and
huge
creative.
Gap. Right.
And that's where I think there's been signs of the ability to spit out thousands of ideas at a click of a button,
right,
and then be able to spur human creativity through getting that sort of ball of yarn going. That's one way that I can say I feel it is a tool in terms of generating to get your own mind working. But then that doesn't mean you can't let your own mind work. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting
pitfall.
at before, that maybe I failed to, is the allow it to bring ideas to the table.
Yeah.
Allow it to maybe broaden your horizons beyond what you knew was possible.
It's not going to be an end-all, be-all solution.
No,
It's not going to be a
hopefully
corner
not.
cutter either. Like
Yeah.
that's the other dark side of it, I think, is sort of like, oh, this is going to save me this much. I don't need to pay this person. I don't need to pay this person. And that's just, to Drake's point before we sat down, it is a little bit of the opposite of the plant your flag mindset.
Right,
And it
yeah.
would be challenging for someone who planted their own flag. And even in our world, something we were going to get to in terms of Meta Andromeda being, we pride ourselves on creating audiences that our creative will then speak to, and targeting those audiences that we have developed in the creative ways that we've developed those audiences. That was a big part of our paid ad strategy that we're basically being told not to do anymore.
Yeah.
So it's something that if you're not, I guess, working with it every day as we are, and seeing some of these changes to Google and Meta that we'll sort of talk about, that ideally will help you out there. If you're not sort of working with it, you may be confused and I'll be honest, if I took 6 months off or took 3 months off like I did that when Kian was born, I mean, in the last 3 months alone, in some of these paid channels, it's been incredible how much things have changed so quickly.
So that's what I was going to get at. I was jotting down. In 3 months, let's bring AI in on as a guest, right?
Well, I said
ask a question
before you got on. I was telling these before you got here early this morning. I was like, I'm a little afraid to talk too badly about AI,
right?
Because I don't want it to be upset with me.
Scary
it's
and creepy.
Listening.
And
it knows
has
what
been
I'm saying.
And
I'm like,
yeah.
Let me say this is off the record now.
Yeah.
This cannot be used against me in the future AI court of law. That is AI laws that have been legislated.
Right.
The AI judge cannot use these words against us.
Right.
So we're booking that today, right now.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anything we say
I shouldn't have interrupted.
Cannot be used against us. But with all that being said, let's talk about Google first. Then we'll get into some Meta stuff.
So yeah, I do want to jump in because we talked about this a little bit before, and I'm seeing it from a 10,000-foot view. You're kind of seeing it a little bit more from 100-foot view with the ads that you're personally managing, and you're talking with a lot of these representatives that we have through our relationships with Google and Meta, and they do differ a bit, but they do have some tendencies that I think are pretty similar, and some that are cautionary, and some that are maybe open to, okay, I think I'll give this a little rope.
Yeah, for sure. On the paid side, I think both platforms, through meeting with them as an agency person and not like representation of the company, I'm able to be a little bit more transparent with them, and they are, I think, a little more transparent with me typically, as you've seen. You've been on the calls in the past. You Google Partners years ago, we were both on those calls long time ago, but I think there's always been a predisposition that they're trying to get you to spend more. They're trying to trick you to spend more, and that
was in our advantage at some point of just putting it on autopilot.
Yeah, and that's where there are things that when you spend time on these phone calls with them, you can kind of read between the lines of, okay, well, this is read off of script, or this person, every once in a while I get a good rep, and we've got a pretty good rep right now for a couple of our clients, and I'm able to kind of ask her some pretty good questions that she gives me genuine answers for. She actually did mention she's seen our podcast, so Palme, shout out.
Yeah, thanks, Palme.
Saw our podcast on LinkedIn. But a couple we'll get a little bit of on the organic side, but on the paid side of things, example, we've seen Performance Max. When it first came out, it was sort of just a big ball of wax, and Google was saying, this is going to be great because it's going to get your ad, it's going to take the AI and machine learning, and it's going to get you better results, more conversions, all great. It's going to put your ad in It can take your ad and put it in search. It can put it in display. It can put it in Gmail. It can put it on YouTube. It can put it on Google Discover. And it sounds great. And for probably almost over a year now, we have utilized Performance Max. But just in the last couple of months, now there's a new report that demonstrates where those Performance Max ads are going, where your dollars are going, where the conversions are coming. And when it breaks it all down, the majority is going to search and display, which is going to be your core. But for years, we would utilize display for awareness and getting in front of the right audiences and having nicely branded, created ad sets that carry a consistent message amongst these different size ads in the Google Display Network. And now seeing the Performance Max demonstrated through where these ads are going in these channels, it's clear that like maybe we need to just get back to a little bit more manual control, because if someone's going to see our client's ad in the display network, do I want it to look like an ad that was created by a human with some intent and some thought behind it? Or do I want it to be a combination of what AI thinks this headline with this image, with this description, which might make sense to the AI, and it might all be three things that all fit together, but is that as effective on a human when they see that?
And I think that's what a lot of this is going to come back to, is that, you know, somebody spent time creating this. Put feelings aside of how much time it took to create that actual piece of art, that ad. Is that more effective? That, or you know, who's trying to win this game?
Right.
Is it the machine or is it the people behind it? And I really do think that everybody is just trying to win. It's just not figured out yet.
Yeah.
And you're saying that from what you've witnessed on Google, it's maybe tipping the scale a little bit more towards, you know, like using their system than.
There's always something that irks me with all these platforms.
Right.
But for example, when I can't see the placements and where the ads are going, that's a big problem for me.
Right.
That was something that probably a year ago they finally put out a report of your placements of where your ads showed up.
Because clients ask about that stuff.
Right. And if I don't have that answer,
it doesn't make
how
you
does
feel
that
good.
make me look?
Yeah.
And not to mention, like, I want to know where they're going because, oh, by the way, I don't need my client's ad on a Sanskrit needle and thread channel that's talking about how to make a babushka in another language.
Right.
I don't need my Western New York client on that website.
Yeah.
So,
and that sounds so specific.
Yeah.
That it may have happened.
Probably. So you have to check those placements and you have to look and make sure. And you can't, then if it starts getting out of control and it's showing on thousands of these pages or YouTube channels and it's showing it on, you know, all these places, like, those are impressions that look like, oh, look how many times it was seen.
Yeah, but if you didn't have somebody intervening and seeing that happen before it became what it put its weight into.
And there's quite a bit of websites that are just basically ad farms.
Right.
You know, I constantly use this one website that's just a percentage calculator. And it's a percentage calculator, and then it's got a ring of ads.
Right.
Every time I use it, I'm thinking,
that's how they stay in business.
Somebody is paying to be on this site. It's having no influence on me right now because I'm not looking at it. Yeah. But that's kind of part of our job, is making sure that it's on a site that matters. It's a message that is going to resonate, and there is power to the subliminal. Another thing in Google that they are very high on, that every rep is sort of pointing to, is the auto-apply recommendations. And that was a tool that they put out probably maybe 2 or 3 years ago now. And there's a long list of these auto-apply recommendations that'll cover your whole account, all your campaigns. And it's basically saying, you know, it's going to take work off your plate. It's going to make your job easier. It's going to, you know, it's going to make the campaign better. But once again, eventually, if you just select all that stuff, I don't know because I haven't. But
thank you.
Yeah, it's like I would be interested to see a test version of, here's a campaign or an account that uses all the auto apply recommendations, and here's one that uses none and is just human, and kind of grade them against each other. But
We
that'll
don't want
never
to play with
happen.
people's money like
Right,
that.
right. AI Max is a new one. Search ads are probably the most classic, I guess, easy to understand way
Right.
of setting these ads up and targeting.
You search for a term, that term shows up, or your ad, therefore, shows
Yeah.
up on top. Everybody, it's super easy, right?
But now there's AI Max, and it both of these platforms, they sort of mimic each other. One will do something, and then the next one you'll see like they'll call it something different. They'll slightly change it, but they're all kind of copycatting each other.
Mm-hmm.
And AI Max kind of speaks to the same, I guess, marketing that Meta is putting out as far as like, yes, just let it go. Just let the AI do its thing.
Yeah.
And it's tough to sort of shift the philosophy as someone who's been, working with Google Ads since it was all manual, cost per click, auction-based, throwback Google Ads. And now there's just all these bells and whistles, and it's almost like, so then what's left for me to do?
Right.
What am I supposed to be doing? Just judging the AI?
Yeah.
Just monitor and oversight? Is that the future of the human in this world?
Yeah, and I'm glad that you bring it up that way, because by no means do we want this to come out as a message that is saying that we have the answers, we're doing it the right way. However, we're doing what we feel is right. And I felt, like I said in the beginning, this kind of, okay, let's trust it when we can trust it, because there needs to be some kind of oversight to it. It seemed like what Meta was saying was a little bit more in our ballpark, what we preach, because it's creative, it's images, it's that kind of stuff first, and that's kind of building it. But also, I wanted to speak to the fact that I don't think it has as much to do with AI stealing our job as it does to the amount of the amount of phone calls I'm going to get if it screws up what we did.
Yeah.
Right? Because we've had a history of doing things, playing in their ballpark and doing things their way, but it's producing results. And we're cool with results, but just turning it over, I feel it's irresponsible. And I feel that you've been doing a great job in being responsible about towing the line and easing into these other ones, these other avenues. And like I said, I think Meta makes more sense based on the fact that they're talking about leaning on the creative.
And it being a more social-based versus a search-based.
Yeah.
I think, like, you being an SEO for pushing 20 years now, and that being kind of, I guess, maybe one of your first steps outside of video into marketing, was it SEO was kind of the...
It went video, and then video SEO, and then web SEO.
Yeah.
And then from there, it all opened up to social and, everything else.
So now we're seeing, like, on the organic side of things, we talked a little bit about Google Ads.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one last one on Google Ads, local service ads. It's a little bit higher ticket, a little bit pay per lead platform. But now you have, whereas when we first began running local service ads, there's specific industries and things that these work well for, but they're more expensive than keyword-based search ads. But the local service ads, typically, they would grade the lead based on it being quality or not, and you wouldn't pay unless it was quality.
Mm-hmm.
And that was sort of like their guarantee type thing. Well, when you did dispute an ad, there would be a human that would review it and either grant you a credit back or say, no, this falls in line with what we deem an ad. And that's now all AI. And there's no arguing. You can submit, and there's like things that you can tell when you click dispute, you click the reason. Actually, it's not even dispute anymore. You just say,
of course,
was this a good lead
that's a
or
negative
not?
term.
Yeah. So you grade it. I'm happy with this. I'm not. I'm the 5. And when you pick like the reasons why you're dissatisfied, the second it advances, it immediately will flip to credited. There is no time. So that means there's clearly some prerequisite that it already knows that, hey, if this human says this is a bad lead, it is a bad lead.
AKA, am I getting away with this?
Yeah, because if you can say this wasn't in my geo, you can say this wasn't in a service, and it'll either immediately flip to credited or it doesn't at all ever. And then you talk to somebody, and they're like, yeah, honestly, there's nothing we can do. All you can do is keep grading them. Grade the good ones, grade the bad ones. So that is, once again, I mean, that's where that has become a large part of the role, is shaping the AI.
Right.
Just by saying every single one of these, taking the man hours to sit, listen, and so it's putting the onus back on us to take the time to say, this is a good ad or lead, this is a bad lead, or this was not a lead at all, and scoring them so that the AI and machine learning ideally does provide more. And that is sort of on the good side, because we've seen, our clients that run those ads, they're happy.
Right.
There's a little bit of overspill, there's a little bit of overspend, but
if it wasn't for that intervention,
yes, that's
thousands of dollars.
Things could certainly get off track, and then that client's gone, and then they've now got a bad taste in their mouth, and they're like, I tried that. It doesn't work.
Right. Yeah. And then that's what concerns me, is those who see a quick little thing on wherever, social media platform, and, oh, it's so easy, we take care of it all, and they don't have that introductory period or that guidance. And it kind of reminds me of conversations I've had in family dinners and things like that, of, well, why is my account flooded with political ads? We'll just keep it that way. Political ads I don't want to see. And I'm like, well, I don't see that stuff because I didn't realize how much I knew about training AI. And I'm glad you brought that up, because it is a huge part of real life. You have to consciously train your accounts to feed what you want to see. And if you're engaging on things you don't like, it's like the Howard Stern effect. Like if that rings to anybody, does it ring to anybody out there? It's that whole thing is that the haters liked him more than the followers or the fans, and I think like that is the AI/social responsibility that goes into some of this stuff.
It is funny, like your algorithm is you. You can try and argue it, but whatever you're seeing is probably because it's what you're watching.
Yeah.
That's why.
Because even if you said, I don't like this, you still commented on it. So it's something you're paying attention to.
Yeah, for good or for bad.
Right.
SEO world, as far as some of the AEO, AIO, whatever you want to call it. But
I find that super interesting.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of questions, but we're finding that just good old-fashioned, hard-nosed content, writing some FAQs, writing fact-based, putting it into the personality and the voice of who we're working with is helping. It's not having 7,000 new pages uploaded that are written by AI. It's not, because we see, like, if everybody's going to use AI to write content, is that not going to be everyone having the same content?
Yeah, and that's where that AI slop that I was talking about 7-8 months ago that Tyler was bringing up. It's also great now that we have had such a solid path in saying, write, in the voice, like you said, of the client. And
is AI really going to know a Western New York business owner with 6 employees that works in Gatesville and Amherst? Is AI at the ChatGPT level really going to know?
You're going to be able to change that subtext or
and provide that
yeah.
difference of who they are.
No, not a chance. There's no way.
At this point.
Well, and that,
anyways,
but
who knows?
in that though, it's really, really cool to see the fact that even through all of the ups and downs and the changes of the algorithm that we've seen over the 10 years and almost 11 now that we've been working together, we've kept that, and it's been the focus the whole time. And if now we're seeing that AI is starting to pull some of the best answers out of the internet, and they happen to be our clients.
Yeah, and content that was blood, sweat, and tears that was put out over years.
Right.
And the people that invested in SEO are all of a sudden showing up in the AEO, AI-based results at the top of the screen.
Right.
They're being cited as the source.
Mm-hmm.
That's obviously the goal of any SEO. But it certainly is impacting how people think about it in terms of, we've called it a necessary evil before SEO, because if you're not doing it and your competitors are doing it, you're sort of shooting yourself in the foot. And now we're seeing even more so that this is just another layer. If ads jumped above organic and SEO, this is just another layer above that organic. That if you didn't invest in SEO, you're not going to get up to the AEO.
No,
you're not getting up in there if you didn't do SEO.
Because it was one thing when I was going down and when I was going through and I was breaking down these different levels of, like, let's say an SEO contract.
Right.
And I would say, all right, well, here is your, this is display, this is search, this is organic. And then now I'm like, oh, and then here's, AI.
Yeah.
And then now here's how they all pull together. I'm glad that, because I wouldn't feel comfortable bringing somebody on if they didn't understand it. It's just taking a little bit more to understand it and let anybody else understand it.
Yeah.
So it just, I think it does at the end of the day feel good that we're paying attention and doing it the right way. And it's proving now that we have been doing it the right way. I think that if AI has done anything great for us, I think it's that it's proving that we're continuing to do things with patience,
right?
Which I think is very cool. But back to your whole point about the AI or AEO, GEO, like those kind of things. I think that they're also starting to pull in resources from all of the platforms, social media now more than ever. So it is more, like you mentioned also, with AI, there's more necessary. We hate to call them necessary evils because we hate to think anything we do is evil. But there's certain
Google
things you just need
don't
to do.
Be evil. That was one of their original sayings was "Don't be evil."
Right.
And here we are calling Google a necessary evil.
Well, some necessary evils are also eating well,
breathing,
exercising, right?
Yeah.
They're things people don't like to do.
Yeah.
But if you want to succeed
or
be
not,
healthy.
Or not die.
Right. Yeah. Let's stay out of the coffin.
You just want to live.
Yeah. Then let's check some of these things off of our list.
Yeah. But you mentioned like social, and we had sort of come up with that little term a few years ago as far as like social sprout package being a good thing for a client to step in with us, being like a little bit of SEO and a little bit of social, get started, start working with us, and then gain a little bit more of that understanding you referenced. And then the more time we spend with a new client, the more we can sort of show them, all right, well, here's the playbook. Here are some of the things that you can do. And that enables them to creatively think, all right, well, the more buy-in we get from a client, the more success it never turns out poorly for a client to inject themselves creatively, because they don't need to execute the idea. That's what we're here for.
Right.
But the more we can get our clients to understand some of these rule books, playbooks, best practices, experiences we've seen, case studies, things like that, then all of a sudden they have an idea and they're like, well, what if we did this? And it's like, maybe it's not exactly that, but
don't
these
negate.
two. Yes, create, don't negate. These two things marry well by starting out in the organic world, and here we are. Now we're starting to see Google SEO results coming from videos, reels, copy in social media posts. Answers to questions are coming from social media, coming from Reddit, coming from TikTok. Any of these platforms are all of a sudden injecting themselves into being the best answer when someone searches for something.
Right.
And so on the social side of things, on Meta, from an organic standpoint, we didn't even used to do that.
No.
We weren't a social media company.
No. It just became, well, our necessary evil,
Yeah.
right? Because we realized that we needed I would use the house party analogy because I thought everybody can relate to it, whether you're throwing a holiday party or you're throwing a bash and, you're a kid and your parents are out of town for the weekend, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
You're thinking about having all the things necessary there. Beer, maybe you're a big water drinker, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it might be.
Tiny
Snacks,
hot dogs,
yeah,
tiny
right.
wieners.
Little cocktail
weenies.
Yeah. So those are the things that I think are important to make sure that you have at the house.
Yeah.
And if your digital house is your social media, and you want to pay for invitations for people to come check out your party or your house, that's not a good look. You can go and pump $1,000 in, and then somebody goes and clicks on your account, and then there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So if we're going to spread our wings into the from the Google world to the social media world, we need to make sure that we're better, well versed, I guess, in the organic side of social media, and people don't have time for that.
Right.
So we try to help, everywhere we can to fill that space.
Yeah, and you had just brought up recently that the main players in social media were quick to kind of pull the reins back when it was clear that the humans weren't connecting with the content that was AI narration, AI imagery, AI slop, whatever you want to call it. They've now pulled the reins back and are starting to reward things like human content, humans talking, even if it's not perfect. And that's something, once again, we've been sort of preaching to our clients. Even if we are contracted to develop content, we have always been sort of cheerleading to say, hey, also just get the camera out one day and say, here's what we had some donuts in the office today.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Show a little bit of the behind the scenes backstage pass.
Yeah. Show the faces, show the culture. Is there a shutterbug in the office? Are they the shy person who's maybe doing bookkeeping?
Yeah.
But do they have a side passion? Are they just taking photos and videos all the time anyway? Get something out there, and because we felt it. I think that's the other side that we've been talking about all along. That we really haven't said. We felt the impact on what that brings to the table. When we're doing the professional stuff, we'd love if there's a mix of something that doesn't look so professional. Now it seems that the algorithms are rewarding that not only in the unpaid space, but in the paid space.
Yeah.
And they're saying more faces, more content, more ads, and they're taking
environments.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Environments, when you start weaving in background noises of videos and just being able to get the whole environment involved, it's helping them place the ad in front of the right people. So it's putting us in a great position, because it's like, okay, cool, we've been asking for that all along, but if you don't have time for it, you know where to find us.
Yeah.
We can be a fly on the wall for a day or two.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to the impact of podcasting too, because we joke it's not like we're getting thousands and millions of views on our podcast, but it gives us content. It gives us a space to talk about some of these things. And
The
it's
cobbler gets to sew the shoes together. You know?
Yeah. And I think like what we're doing right now, like this is a little bit of our own self-correction and trying to continue to provide new ideas, new things out there, just as we test on our own stuff.
Right.
Because nobody's paying us to do this stuff.
Right.
This is our sort of world where we get to experiment with the algorithm, see how this works, but all the while getting a human being talking on a quality microphone. That's our experiment, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the same experiment for a different company. Maybe it's someone talking next to a motorcycle about a part that they sell,
right.
and why that part is going to work for someone who loves motorcycles. Or maybe it's someone talking about this is a product that you're not going to want to use on your plant because it's going to possibly do this, this, and this.
Right.
Maybe look at something like this. So for you being someone that I guess, fell in love with video production and helping small businesses, what do you feel the sort of next stage is? Is AI going to put video producers out of work?
I think it's going to do the exact opposite. I think there's going to be a bit of a learning curve. And it's going to be fall in your face by the person who's paying for it. But I think initially it will help put more freelance videographers and some more small video production companies in a great position to say, let me just shoot everything.
Right.
And then, you have the option at that point to put it into different AI systems and see if it works. But I think it is because we see so often it's the last thing that anybody they want to get to it. Everybody loves doing what we do, but they don't have time to.
Right.
Because it doesn't fit into their calendar. And I can speak to that personally. I understand what it's like when you go from being a small business owner, of being just one person and maybe two people, and then you start to grow, it becomes unattainable to get out there and start to be in everything and shoot everything and do everything you wanted to, because you have to make sure that you're paying the bills and you're checking to make sure your insurance is paid up, all that kind of stuff. So I get that it gets pushed to the bottom of the list because it doesn't seem important. Well, now it's going to at least maybe help some people to say, I'll have time to do that thing because that sounds fun. I'm going to go and take a little bit of video with my team, and then I'm going to figure out what to do with it later. So I think that is at least going to be a catalyst that's going to help. And then what happens to it after that? Like I said, you can hire someone to break it up. You can throw it into an AI software system, or you can hire a company that really can say, I can't believe you just did this for yourself. This is gold. Let's go turn this into what you see as gold.
Yeah.
So I think that it is encouraging, but I don't know how many people realize how much the platform is recognizing it and how much this can catapult their business.
Yeah, and like just thinking about our own business and how it evolve or die, right? Like, I mean, if you would have told me when I walked in here that, we can just shoot a video in literally 30 seconds. We can have 16 clips, and we can have an explanation of why it's a good social media clip. Like, that's an example of like some of the AI tools that have affected your business in terms of billable hours. But do you just say, I guess I got to fold up shop because I can't charge somebody for X amount of hours of post-production anymore? Or do you evolve and say, all right, well, now we can get that much done quicker, so how many more people can we service? I mean, that's kind of...
Well, one of the things that I think it was Rob, is it Herkovich from Shark Tank? Yeah. Maybe it wasn't him. Either way, who cares? It was somebody from Shark Tank. He had done a video that I saw that he was talking about the change in you have to pay less for software and more for people who understand it now. And that's the huge divide. And then that's what AI is changing, is that there's so many pieces of software out there that the normal business owner can't decipher what's going to work or how to operate it, how to manipulate it. And I think it he was on to something.
Yeah.
That clip I think is kind of powerful. It wasn't as short as that, but it was just basically you're paying more for the people who are going to use it, and
right,
less on the other side. So
yeah, that's pretty interesting. I find it interesting too. Like we were talking a little bit about the fact that like you used to be able to buy software and the sticker shock price was high, but at the same time, over time, eventually, if you pay $20 a month for long enough, you're a never-ending customer.
Yeah,
and the subscription model is sort of like,
well, because you're locked in,
right?
Yeah,
because you can't not use it.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting spin on that. That like, yeah, well, all right, now we need people that know how to use it too.
Yeah.
Well, on the paid side of things, as far as like some of the signs of AI that we've personally seen, one interesting factor is Meta on Meta ads. They provided a means of, one click, here's 5 other descriptions, and then the AI will send it out what it feels. It's kind of the same thing as Performance Max, as we said. They kind of mimic each other. But I did find it interesting when those 5 extra AI generated headlines or descriptions pop up. The evolution is interesting when you see now those 5 say, do you want to check this box? That means to cater to personas. And when you look at the personas, it's evidence of the AI working, because the personas that it's anticipating you are writing to, they're the personas that you're trying to write to. And you're like, how the fuck did that know that already?
Right.
So once again, it's like, then you look through those, you read through them, and it's like, all right, well, I kind of like this one, but don't like this one. And then maybe it spurs another idea of saying, all right, wait, I'm going to rewrite that original one because now I just read these ones and I missed the mark. So now I'm going to rewrite that first one and then generate a bunch more. And now I've got an even better ad than I had before.
Right.
So it's not all like, it's not all slop. There's going to be ebbs and flows of things that I think are definitely going to benefit. Another one, generated image. So like, you create this image, create this ad, and then it spits out probably 15 to 20. Like, do you like these? And it's like, all right, actually that one's not bad. It's the same ad. It's just a little bit different color. Maybe the background's a little different, but that adds a little bit of variance to where maybe now that user's not seeing the same ad 5 times, but they just saw a slight variation, and then they're a little bit less annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they're like, all right, oh, wow, cool. But that has developed, but it's still not there yet,
And
because
it's still, because we had these conversations on, these are campaigns that you're now adjusting that have been, you're retooling.
Right.
I shouldn't say campaigns, but accounts.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Retooling over however many years. So, but if it wasn't for the intervention, once again,
Right.
where would it be?
Yeah, it's kind of like back to when AI first came out and all the humans had 9 fingers. Like AI couldn't do fingers.
Yeah, I
and
still think they're having some trouble with that.
so like you'll see like still some of the images are still a little fucked up, and you're like, all right, well, once again, if I just select all, then that's going to add a lot of negativity to this brand when, like, let's just say we had a sale graphic and it said 15 off this, 20 off this, and then in the AI version it's like 20 off, and then it's like not a word. It's just a symbol that was the word that it tried to take and put in here, but now it's tiny and illegible. Meta's basically saying now, like, don't worry about what mailbox you put the ad in. We'll put it in the right mailbox.
Right.
Which is a challenge for me personally, because like we said in the beginning of this thing, we developed a strategy that we preach to employees, teammates over the years. Don't create your ad until you know who the ad is for. And then I will get that audience for you. And then this is what we need, that you need to say that to this audience. And now Meta is basically just saying, don't worry about the audience. Just create the creative. And we'll feed your creative to who we feel is right. And now when I see some of this evidence, like, okay, there's signs of that working.
Mm-hmm.
But as we said to our colleague, former Meta employee,
Mm-hmm.
at one point I'm like, all right, but if Andromeda is as good as it says it is,
Yeah.
why is the click-through rate not 100%?
Right.
If Andromeda is as good as Meta says it is, why can't I just cut my budget down to $25 a month and I'm going to flip that into $7,000 in sales because it's that amazing?
Right.
So that's where it gets a little fishy to me.
Yeah.
Who is putting the AI in? Like, they are in control of the AI. So then therefore, it's their AI. It's not everyone's AI.
Right.
It's Google's AI, Musk's AI,
And obviously,
Bill Gates' AI.
yeah, we've had different experiences with both of them.
Right.
They're kind of all, turning off similar technology.
And they won't, if it works as well as they act like it would work, then they're not going to make money.
It's the Thomas Edison light bulb. I've brought it up so many times. It's become nauseating to you, I'm sure. But the damn thing still works from what I understand.
Yes.
So but if it did, GE would not be a name that anyone would recognize right now.
Yeah, it could be argued there's a lot of stuff like that
Yeah.
our whole American society is sort of built on that. But
America.
But I mean, we have seen, like, over the last few years, there's been experiments, there's been, things here and there. Oftentimes we get to sort of try things out on our own channel to kind of test it where we're not testing it on, someone else's stuff. But AI generated social posts, AI generated written copy. That's something that we kind of put our nose up at.
Oh, yeah.
Not only is it the concept of, okay, well, if everybody uses ChatGPT or Grok or Perplexity to say, write me an SEO-focused article for a marketing company looking to find leads, and it's like, yeah, you don't got to learn how to write, you got to learn how to prompt. And it's like, okay, but then how personalized is that going to come out?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not yet.
Well, we can
maybe it
see,
will someday.
We can already see by the fact that they're coming up with applications that are spending money to sidestep that problem. So when you start to see money be put into that problem, that means it's already, even if you don't know it's a problem.
And
you get what I'm saying?
What makes me feel dirty about especially writing is anybody can copy paste into an AI AI detector.
Yeah, right.
And it detects it. It
Yeah.
shows you how much percentage is AI.
Yeah.
So, like, that's where I have a hard time, like, ever agreeing with someone that would say, well, I'll just put out 40 blogs a month and have AI write it all, because there's going to be correction. It just seems like that doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the theme here is, like, do what you think is right in your business in terms of how you use AI.
Yeah.
Like, if it starts to feel wrong, it probably is wrong.
Right.
Like, that's where I think maybe when it gets weird is when AI starts shifting our perspective of right and wrong.
Yeah.
Because right now, every human being has
some
an inherent
sort of compass.
I mean, I've got an 11 or 13-month-old baby, and he has some idea of right and wrong. It may be human developed, but like, he knows, like, he can feel good and bad energy.
Yeah.
Like, if someone's being nasty, he's like, whoa. And if someone's being really nice to him, he's like, oh, there's human feeling.
We've got to recreate that pulse. And I think that really does come down back to the whole business owner full circle kind of thing is, you have to feel good about the decisions you're making. And if you're not making decisions that you feel right about, especially if they're big ones,
Right.
then test it on the side.
Yeah.
And then keep, or hire somebody who you recommended or whatever, so like, don't just like turn over everything. And I don't think there's a lot of people who've made it really, really far. I'm worried about the startups. We're all going to end up having to grapple with it at some point down the road. But hopefully
I'm
some of
gonna
this
remove
stuff.
my skin suit and I'm a robot underneath.
Yeah, the mask. your buddy Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I was actually replaced already. I signed up for a procedure, Mike.
Yeah.
As you can see, the results are much better than Jeremy 1.
Yeah.
Jeremy 2.0.
When did he stop?
Well,
was it when you went out when you had Keeps?
Yep.
Oh shoot!
Yep. You thought I was Jeremy this whole time, but we had Kian. We took my DNA. We created Kian so that Jeremy could live on. We killed original Jeremy. And by killed, he's on an island somewhere. He's happy. He's eating coconuts. He's fine. I'm the new Jeremy, and that's why you've seen such success in 2025.
Son of a gun!
Yep.
I should have never hired Drake.
Jury's out. Well, Drake's
If I would have
actually
known.
surprised.
I would have
Drake is
known all
actually
this
AI
time.
as well. Why do you think he's so fast? He gets things done so quickly.
So everything that happened since
Yeah, he
that
came
shit.
after Kian.
Son of a
See,
gun!
it's all
I got to
making
spend
sense.
more time around the office.
Plot twist.
Right.
No, but seriously, I mean, that's maybe someday that will happen.
One of the things I do want to make
other
sure
Mike
that we,
Bean.
yeah, well, we don't have time to get into that. But one of the things that I do want to talk about is these
Need
guys.
Reverend Marshner to come by and talk about that.
Oh man, we should have to bring him back to figure out how that ever happened.
We should ask him about AI. That
That would be
would be
cool.
a good episode.
Yeah.
Anyways, you were saying.
So, these are new, if you haven't noticed. And Imagine Pack, very cool company. It wasn't easy for them to get the multicolor on there and get that done.
Yeah, they went to great lengths
Yeah.
for us to make sure that we got a product that we
Yeah.
were proud of.
So it's cool.
Thank you
we
to
always,
Jess.
when you ask a marketing company to do something in marketing, it's always harder. But we want to thank everybody out there. Jess specifically, she was the point person on that.
Because we couldn't not have the geometric, and thanks to Andrea as well. For
Yes, Andrea internally.
She
was great.
actually, Drake, get a zoom in on that, would you? This whole kind of design was created on the logo to basically generate an idea of, in the very middle was, when I first started working with Mike, I couldn't believe the amount of like tributaries to different relationships he had forged. And that kind of symbol was supposed to represent like you in the middle and all the relationships and kind of how those relationships build relationships. So we couldn't not have it on the cup. And Andrea, our graphic designer, went to great lengths to actually reproduce that manually and using some crazy math. And
Because you used AI to generate it originally.
yes, it's all slop.
Joke.
So she had to recreate it from a human angle. But no, seriously, it is pretty cool. And it's, the podcast has come a long way since we first started. Had some bumps and hiccups along the way, but I think we've got a pretty good show going.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad we had the opportunity to do this. So we look forward to everyone checking back in just a few weeks, and we're going to be in 2026. So thank you. I'm sure you'd want to say thank you as well. But thank you, everybody out there. Like, subscribe, follow, anything else you can do to support the show, and always comments. But if nothing else, have a great New Year and happy holiday. Thank you here.
And if you want someone that wants a free cup, just come spend like 40 minutes with us, please. You can't spell marketing without AI.
Don't eat that.
No! Yeah, the one day my mom's like, don't yell at him. I'm like, I don't yell at him. I tell him no if he's sticking his finger in the outlet. I'll go grab it. We got this 2 footlongs, $12.99 coupon. I walk in, I'm all fucking pumped up. Like, hey, buddy, I'm going to get 2 footlongs. I've got a coupon. He's like, oh, we don't take those here. I'm like, what do you mean?
You got me out of bed.
Subway coupon.
This coupon got me out of bed. I had it on my nightstand.
No, it was like I had it on my couch. I just sat down, and it was like we still have 20 minutes before they close.
Yeah.
She's doing dishes. I'm like, by the time I'll go right now. I'm in my shorts and boots out in the cold. He's like, no, we don't take those here. I didn't check my teeth. Did I have anything on my teeth?
No. Do I?
No.
Sweet. That's good. Drake's using the shit out of that.
Yeah, Drake's like, that's
Fuck you, man.
That's good.